What is going on, everybody? It is episode 699 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here once again with my co-host. Introduce yourself, please.
Hi, Crisis Actors. It's Mary, and we are indeed on the precipice of a huge milestone episode.
It's the penultimate. Well, not even the penultimate, because it's not ending.
Well, yeah, it's not the second to last episode of PCC ever.
It is the penultimate episode of the 600 through 700 series.
It's the end of our 6th season.
See, that's not
We're
a thing,
going into
though.
season 7, right?
So every day when I'm making the audio version of the podcast, right, and I export it, and you have to like upload it into Megaphone. It's just season 1 episode.
We're still in season 1.
We're still like I never put them into multiple
How the
seasons.
hell does it end?
We're in season 1, episode 699.
I remember when I first started here, people were joking about what season the company was in, and they were like, "Oh, you joined like toward the end of like season 3."
Yeah, it's about.
I was like, I don't know exactly what that means, but
I started
okay.
in early season 2. You started in towards the end of season 3.
Got it.
There was a rapid shift in seasons early on.
But by now, I've outlived some people, and new people have come after me, so I feel like I'm a total OG.
Oh yeah, like you are absolutely up there. You've earned producer credit by now.
Yeah, I'm on the IMDb.
Yeah, for sure. Guys, we got a bunch of stuff to get into, but before we get started, I do want to remind everyone that yes, episode 700 is tomorrow, and if you have not yet, please go and sign up to the Timcast Discord. If you go up in there, there's a section there where you can leave a voicemail for us, which we will be listening on episode 700 to tomorrow. So please go ahead, sign up.
Serious inquiries only.
Yes. And ask questions. Like it shouldn't just be like, "Hey guys, congratulations on 700." Ask a question. Perhaps you have deep and meaningful things you need asked.
Yeah, we want to hear questions, criticisms, concerns.
I'll just edit out all the criticisms. Don't worry.
If you criticize us, we're going to ignore it.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I guess if you have something that you wanted to say, go ahead and say it.
So go ahead and do that, guys. And remember that the best way to help shows like this grow is to share the videos out with your friends and your family and your loved ones and everyone in between. It's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow. I'm pretty excited about that. Are you
Someone
excited?
joked about asking us if our refrigerator is running.
I have no idea. Well, actually, technically, there is a refrigerator.
Well, you better go catch it.
Like, is that a thing still? Do kids still make prank calls?
Dude, I got the craziest prank call from a child just the other week.
What happened?
I don't even know. Like, they must have just button mashed and found me. Because I don't know this person.
What did they say?
No caller ID. And I think it sounded like a prepubescent child. So I was like, oh gosh, like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
And I think he asked me, like, are you my DoorDasher or something?
It's the modern version of that.
Like, what kind of prank call is that? Or just be more creative.
Yeah, you'll have to work on that.
Yeah, it was a weird experience. He called like 6 times after that.
I mean, maybe he was just confused.
But I answer because I answer all the calls. Like, I find it entertaining.
You don't have the Gen Z or millennial fear of picking up the phone.
Yeah, in fact, let's just draw out the conversation longer than it needs to be and make it even more awkward.
Ruin it for them too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, it's going to be a lot of fun on 700, so please, you should make sure to tune in live tomorrow. Remember, it is not 3 to 5 as per usual. Tomorrow's live stream will be a special 4-hour episode. We will be going live here at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, so please go tune in. I have right here a rotating list of guests who are going to be here tomorrow. People are going to be stopping in to say hi and spend some time. So it's going to be fun.
We're forcing people to hang out with us.
It really is like that. Like, I wonder if people, like, anytime we have to ask people to be on the show, I'm like, I'm sorry, but you got the time?
No, it's a privilege.
That's what the attitude should be, but I'm always like, I'm really sorry for interrupting your workday. Can you come bullshit with us for a couple of hours?
No, we're the talent, and to just be in the same room as us is a privilege.
Okay. She said that, not me, ladies and gentlemen.
Now people are going to genuinely think I talk like that.
What are we getting into today? Well, we got a bunch of stuff to discuss. First things first, we are going to go through the trailers for both The Last of Us Season 2, as well as the brand new trailer for the John Wick spin-off Ballerina, which I have already raved about on Twitter, but we will go through and watch it. Mary has not watched these yet, so we are going to watch them.
No, I mean, I don't really care for John Wick.
Yeah.
It's not a girl franchise.
What are you talking about? It's got a girl. They put a girl in it.
They put a girl on.
They
certainly put a girl on. I don't know if that's
going demographic.
I am literally the target demo for female protagonists in male-led franchises, and I don't care.
Which is why we put a poll up.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
Because one of the other things that we're going to be talking about is it the ghost of Yōtei? I don't know how to pronounce it.
We're just going to say Yōtei. It doesn't
So
matter. We're American.
There's all sorts of hullabaloo going around about the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, which has hired a female activist type to voice the lead role and do the mocap, as well as backlash regarding, former, PlayStation executives saying if you don't like it, don't buy it. And we asked the question, are you sick of female protagonists? Because what I noticed, at least from the discussion that I saw online, was a lot of nuance of people saying, some saying you're overreacting, the gameplay looks fine, let's wait for there to actually be a problem before we sound the fire alarm.
Yes.
So we'll get into it.
Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Because it also connects back to Assassin's Creed Shadows, which has been delayed.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into that. It's going to be a lot of fun, I'm sure. We're going to discuss it. Also, apparently, there is a conspiracy going around that for years, Justin Bieber has just been trying to warn everyone about Diddy.
Yeah, he, I don't know how to even explain this, but back in 2020, Justin Bieber put a music video out for his song Yummy, which I believed was about something very different.
Very different.
Now there are theories going around that it was actually a secret message to his fans about the abuse he endured, not only at the hands of Diddy, allegedly, but other executives in Hollywood as a young star.
So people are saying, was it a warning or was it a cry for help? We'll get into it. We'll talk about it. Also, there's this fantastic article that's been written that wants to let you know the plight of being a hot person today.
Honestly, I would have laughed at that in a normal time, but we live in such deeply insane times. I think hot people might actually have a claim to oppression in 2024.
There you go. All right, guys. So, it's going to be a lot of fun today. Let's go ahead and you ready to get right into it?
I think I'm ready.
Okay, let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, first things first, I am going to give you guys a quick recommendation before we get started on everything. So, bear with me here. I watched a show last night called Murder in a Small Town. No, it is not the sequel to Try That in a Small Town by Jason Aldean.
Murder in a Small Town.
It's a show that just came out. It was like it's one of these shows where it's like it premieres on Fox, but then goes immediately to Hulu.
Okay.
So it's like the next day it's on Hulu, and I had a lot of fun, and I got a lot out of the show. If you're married, okay, just bear with me here. If you're married, this might be a show that you and your wife, or I guess if your husband, if you're a woman watching the show,
you're a non-binary spouse.
Could get a lot out of watching this. So the main character is a guy named Carl Ulberg. This is based on a book series, I guess, who is a very, very intelligent detective played by Rossif Sutherland, who is the son of Donald Sutherland and the half brother of Kiefer Sutherland. I don't know why he couldn't give his kids normal names, but
I think I've only heard of Kiefer.
Yeah. So it's really, really fun because one of the things they do right off the bat is they pay great attention to make sure that you understand that this main character is very, very smart. He's actually not the head of the marketing for this movie, which is mostly around Christine Kruick, who's just the bigger name, I guess. So she's front and center of a lot of the marketing, and she's the women will enjoy her character because it's basically like a dark Hallmark series. It's like if Murder and Hallmark were put together.
Okay.
She's allowed to be very feminine and enjoys being a girl, and her and this dude are trying to figure out whether they like each other and go on dates, and there's not a whole lot of cynicism around it, and the mystery around the show is episodic, so it's a new case, it seems like, every week. The first episode was done with the fantastic actor James Cromwell, who for once is not playing a president in this show. And it's really, really good. They do a really good job of making sure that, like, right off the bat, all the characters, for the most part, in this small town are likable. Now, one of the things they could have done, which happens, is like, it's a small town. Somebody's going to be bigoted or stupid. And they actually make a point in this series where one of these characters is very, very kind, but has some very, very, he just doesn't get it, right? And
what do you mean?
So there's this scene where they have this new addition to the police force. She's an Asian woman named Corporal Yen, and she's interviewing this kid who makes a comment because he's a suspect in this crime, and he goes, "You got to go talk to the guy in the who's selling fish out of the black van." He goes, "The black guy. Oh, I'm sorry, person of color." But he doesn't say it in like a sarcastic way. He says it like he's freaked out that he just offended someone.
What year was this made?
This was made this year.
This year?
The point is they're not portraying these characters as dumb and stupid. And then from behind the 2-panel glass, this other guy, it's like Deputy Sid, is like, he's like, "She's smart, boss." And he goes, "She was a good hire, boss." He goes, "Yeah, she's really smart." And he goes, "Asian." And he goes, and instead of like berating this guy for saying this, he goes, "Sid, you're a good man. Keep evolving."
Okay.
So it's done in a way where they address something that's very current year, but it's not with a bunch of really, really snarky or awful characters.
The dialogue sounds a little bit contrived. I just don't think that people talk like that in real life, but
for the most part, the point is that the characters are likable. He has a good relationship, albeit distant, with his daughter, so he's not portrayed as like an awful father. They have good back and forth throughout the show, and it really takes great pains to make you like this, or make you understand the motives of this character. And the female, she's not even a protagonist, the female character is allowed to be a woman. It's not like a girl boss cop show. So there's something for everyone. The men will enjoy the episodic mystery of the crime that is being solved. The women will appreciate the other stuff. And one of the things they do is that they take advantage of what's considered quaint on-location crime solving, which is like it's like a subset of the crime genre. So it takes place in, I think, Gibson's, British Columbia, and it's both portrayed as being there and filmed there. So you're on location in these really, really beautiful scenic areas that does a lot of the heavy lifting as far as the visual aesthetic, and everybody in the town knows each other, which is kind of the point, right? Everyone is interconnected. Think of shows like Haven or Grace Point. Things
it sounds
like
Twin Peaks.
It's
without
a bit like
the
without the supernatural
horror
element.
Yeah.
So that plays a large portion of it. And again, Christine Cruick is a fantastic actress. She pulls a lot of the weight when she's on screen. Again, I don't think that this is going to be for most of the audience, but it was enough to keep me checking for when the next episode is. And again, I do think that if you're married, you got a spouse, you're looking for something to watch together, I think that you guys could get something out of this. So I do think it's worth checking out.
Okay.
Fair enough. All right, let's move on. Then let's go ahead and move on to something more serious. So,
not really.
Diddy's lawyer says that it's not his fault that he buys his lube in bulk.
Yeah, so the FBI confiscated what they reported as over 1,000 bottles of baby oil from Diddy's home in Miami.
I'm picturing a giant truck backing up onto his property.
Yeah. So there are theories going around about what this substance actually is, and some people believe that the baby oil was in fact laced with drugs. We don't know that yet or why they were confiscated, but Diddy's lawyer is he's working really hard to come up with excuses for him right now. And TMZ's Harvey Levin interviewed him, and he made himself look like a total moron.
So do we have the...
I think it's in the TMZ article
here. You said
here.
30 seconds in?
Yeah.
This is the type of...
Okay, hold on. Let's go to the 30-second mark of the minute and 21 clip.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Man, I love that setup there. It's all red and serious.
Very dark.
Yeah.
They called them freak-offs. But, back when I was a kid in the late 70s, they were called threesomes.
If these are genuinely...
I mean, it didn't seem like it was just 3 people.
This guy does not look like the threesome type, but okay.
He might be embellishing just a little bit. I don't know if this guy was invited to any threesomes.
How do you explain 1,000 bottles of baby oil?
I don't know where the number 1,000 came from.
The U.S. Attorney said it.
I can't imagine it's thousands.
This feels like an edited thing where somebody cut this all in.
I don't know.
And I'm not really sure what the baby oil has to do with anything.
They're essentially saying it's a lubricant for an orgy.
I guess. I don't know what you need 1,000. One bottle of baby oil goes a long way. I don't know what you need 1,000 for. I mean, he has a big house. He buys in bulk. You know, I think they have Costco's in every place.
Where are the Costco guys? Costco guys, is Diddy a boom or a doom?
This is definitely a doom.
Have you sat in the parking lot of a Costco and see what people walk out of there with?
Not 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
I don't.
How do you know?
I think it was
Harvey Levin doesn't go and do his own shopping.
Let's just say it's a lot. Okay.
That was a fever dream, and none of that felt real. It felt like they intercut something in there and put that together.
This is his excuse for Diddy having 1,000 bottles of baby oil. He's saying either the FBI is exaggerating the numbers, which I don't understand why they would.
Yeah. Do you think it's
it's
GHB?
just normal?
Do you think it's GHB?
So what is the street drug name? It's like called liquid ecstasy, causes feelings of euphoria.
What is it? Gamma hydroxybutyrine is the actual name for the date rape drug.
Unless they're hoping to collect DNA evidence off of the baby oil, I can't understand a reason why the FBI would confiscate it if it's not laced with drugs, or they didn't have reason to suspect it was laced with drugs.
I love it. It's like he's using it the way drug dealers use sandwich bags. He's keeping drug dealers keep Ziploc in business, and Diddy is keeping Johnson & Johnson business.
No one will suspect a thing.
I do love all of the memes of like people like slipping and sliding on stuff, and they're now saying like the cops trying to get into Diddy's place.
I can't. Like, this guy seems like a total idiot.
He doesn't seem like the smartest lawyer.
His voice was cracking. Did you hear? He was like nervous.
He's probably used to being on the, in the courtroom and not talking to Harvey.
It's just, I don't know. He buys in bulk.
What do you want me to do about it?
What do you want me to say?
What do you want me to do about it?
So he's saying it's either a lie, or if it's true, it's actually normal to have 1,000 bottles of baby oil in your house.
Perfectly normal.
I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss.
He didn't sound ready for the interview.
No, I mean, why is he even doing interviews while Diddy is still detained?
Isn't the whole point that he should be calm and cool and project a sense of, confidence in his client?
Well, what he's telling the media right now is that Diddy is eager to defend his case and tell his side of the story, so he can't even stop Diddy from testifying in this trial.
You know what Diddy could have done instead? He could have shifted the narrative and been like, look, I'm actually a doomsday prepper, and I have thousands of bottles of lots of stuff in here.
You have to be prepared for those post-apocalyptic orgies.
You never know.
You never know what you might need.
Don't give The Last of Us any ideas. Don't give The Last of Us any ideas. All right.
Yikes.
All right. So Lady Gaga has a new album coming out, and it seems to be coming out in tandem with the release of Joker Folie à Deux.
Lady Gaga's album Harlequin is a full length of 41 minutes and 30 seconds, out on Friday, September 27th. So that's tomorrow. It's a concept album that goes along with the movie, I guess.
Can I be honest right now?
Yeah.
I like the green, the yellowish green aesthetic. I wish more movies would get away from the blue and yellow or the blue and orange and do like it kind of has the off-white green texture of like the Matrix
with the red life vest that she's wearing here in the shower that is very purposefully dingy. I listened to a clip that she posted of one of the songs. She posted a snippet and it was bad.
How bad?
We can't play it obviously, but it wasn't what I would expect from Lady Gaga.
If only there's going to be a scene in the movie where they start a dance number and she starts performing Joker face instead of poker face.
Oh, that was... I can't believe I didn't think of that first. Maybe that's going to be one of the tracks on the album. We don't know. I mean, you have to take advantage of the pun.
How do you not do that?
Yeah,
right?
You have to.
Come on. Oh no, he performs it. They have Joaquin Phoenix perform Joker face.
Well, she filmed this music video for one of the songs in the Louvre and painted a lipstick smile on the Mona Lisa in the video. And
if she had just had some SpaghettiOs, she could have made a statement about climate change.
Right,
that would
exactly.
have been way better.
But I watched that and I was like, this is how I know I was never a theater kid. I will never be a theater kid because I don't see anything to appreciate in this.
I mean, it just looks corporate produced to me.
Yeah.
But I guess it's kind of hard to escape that when you're somebody of her level of fame.
Like what you said about The Crow. It's corporate,
Slop.
dingy.
Yep. Well, yeah, it's like
Corporate grime.
what I imagine when I see this is like it looks all dirty and grimy, and then the camera pans up and back, and there's like a chandelier in a really, really clean room next to it because it's literally built that way.
Right. It's
That's
just
what it
a
feels
set
like
that
to
they
me.
made. You
I
know,
mean,
go into a real motel. Go into a Motel 6 for the photo shoot.
Yeah.
Commit to the bit.
All right, let us move on then, shall we? So we should go ahead and talk. We got a couple of trailers to review today. First thing that we're going to look at is they have just released the trailer for season 2 of The Last of Us. It does feel like a lifetime ago that we watched
How
the
long
show.
ago was our review of that season?
Was it 2023? Early
I believe
2023?
It had to have been last year,
Okay.
yeah.
So it feels like a lifetime ago, and this is going to come out in 2025. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be a long slog through this. I will say that I would be more interested in reviewing season 2 of this than season 2 of Rings of Power.
By far, yeah.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and check out the trailer. You guys will have to let us know in the comments what you think of this. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what they say about it. Is what people want is this.
Yeah.
This is what people want right here. They want to see this type of situational horror where someone is trapped. Think
Yeah.
Glenn in the in the dumpster, right? That's what people want. The problem is every episode would do one minor set piece that would give you a little bit of that and then couch the rest of it around a bunch of stories about the people.
Yeah.
Now, in the game, I guess that makes a little bit more sense because of the way in which the structure was set up with, the cutscenes. But for live action, action needs to be more fluent and continuous.
Yeah, and in that ghastly third episode of the first season, there was literally zero action that I recall.
But they trick you because that first episode had those great handheld camera shots as they're following around, and it's fantastic, and you think that that's what you're going to get for all 9 episodes.
They
and that's
reel you in.
They do.
You
Yeah.
get bait and switched. I want more cordyceps. That's what I was saying throughout first season, is there was just not enough.
Yeah, they didn't even
actual-
really show any other than the one from behind.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
That's all they really showed, and then the people up against the wall.
There's like a lot of small scenes with big feelings, not a lot of big scenes, small feelings.
Like, I love this. Like, they had shots like this in the first one. Like, I don't know if that's green screen or how they did that, but I do love those that look, at least appear to me from this resolution, like they went on location to do it.
You said this
Right?
feels like a Walking Dead trailer.
Yeah, well, no, it doesn't. No, I'm saying that some of the scenes feel like they're taken from from aspects of how The Walking Dead was shot, but The Walking Dead had infinitely more engaging trailers. They had the one, I think it was like between season 5 and 6 for Comic-Con to like Arsonist Lullaby by Hosier, which I really, 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 really enjoyed. And it could have been between 4 and 5, but it was a Comic-Con trailer that was like really, really engaging and made you want to tune in the second the new season started. But unfortunately, like, audience and fandom are a very, very different place than they were that many years ago.
Yeah.
So it feels very different. And a lot of people have questions. Given how the second game turns out,
Right.
are they going to adjust the storyline to keep Joel in it the whole season?
Right. And
Which honestly, they should.
you see Joel in a post-apocalyptic therapy session with Catherine O'Hara.
She's got an egg timer.
I don't recall from the game. I don't recall him being in therapy sessions talking about his trauma.
Yeah.
But I guess they'll have to take some creative liberties to keep Pedro Pascal in the show as long as possible.
I mean,
Because people were worried that this season would just start with the golf club.
I
Immediate
understand.
face full of golf club.
I understand that you and like a lot of other people don't like Pedro Pascal. I get that. But if the choice here is his acting and then letting Bella Ramsey carry the load for the whole season, he is an infinitely better actor, a more charismatic actor who can actually carry the material to whatever extent you think that he's capable of. Certainly people in the comments will probably argue about that. But the few scenes that pulled emotional moments from the first season were all because of him. Now, they were few and far in between, but he's the one you rely on to do that. But if you just start with the golf club and then give us then give us Ellie and Abby for 9 episodes, I think you're setting yourselves up for disappointment. And I think that could be what ends up happening, because I vaguely remember like an update from one of these discussing film saying like Pedro Pascal has finished his filming for season 2 of The Last of Us, and it was like ages ago.
We have a 20 from Jose Quintana. Long live PCC. Just saw The Killer's Game, a poor man's John Wick, but still fun. Mary, Brett, do either of you have a public moniker? Long live PCC. What does that mean?
I don't know what that means. I have my name.
That's just, I don't know. We don't really have a need for it.
It sounds like you had fun with it. That was one of those movies where I was supposed to go see it last week and I didn't, and I do regret it. I do want to go see it.
You want to see poor man's John Wick.
I want to see poor woman's John Wick too, as we're going to discuss in a bit.
And then another from Weary Traveler. Pedro Pascal is the male version of Taylor Swift.
Okay, here's the other
in real life. Yes.
Here's the other thing that could work if the writers decided to give this a proper script, which is that at the end of season 1, you're left off with him lying to Ellie about why she didn't need to sacrifice herself and go through the surgery, right? Mm-hmm. He goes on the rampage, he kills all those people, and then he basically says, they found other people. You're fine. And then she goes, are you lying to me? And he's like, nah. Like,
she's like, okay.
No, she, you can tell she's suspicious at the end of it. So if you carry that out through most of season 1, where he kind of has to deal with the guilt about lying to her, and clues keep coming up that what happened wasn't what he actually said, there could be some great tension building and storytelling there if it's done right. But if they just end this right away and golf club scene, then I don't know what the point of doing that was. You might as well have just dragged it out to the end of season 2 and get the most you can out of the biggest name actor on your marquee as it is.
Yeah, they also are going to have to do some heavy lifting to make Abby a sympathetic character.
I mean, not making her like 8 feet tall, not making her look like an MMA fighter helps.
When I first saw Caitlin Dever announced as the casting for Abby, I immediately thought, like, this is the girl who probably should have played Ellie.
Yes. Yeah.
And it
Honestly,
wasn't the actress they rumored to be Abby after all. I think they might have changed plans once the leak got out.
I guess she would have been considered too old to play Ellie.
Well, there's this huge time jump to the second game, so I assumed it would have been fine, but I guess they're not going to do that because they want to keep Pedro Pascal. The best case scenario here is that this show gets canceled after its second season and we just don't have to deal with it anymore.
They're going to do spin-offs. You just know it.
Spin-offs of what?
You just know they're going
There's nothing to spin off.
We're about to get like the chosen cinematic universe. We're getting Catholic Palooza, the cinematic universe. So literally everything can be a cinematic universe now.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, guys, let us move on. We got more for you because that was the trailer I was ambivalent about. Here is the trailer I was actually excited for because I think it came out really, really well. So John Wick 4 came out, was that last year, I believe? I think so. Then there was the Continental. Depending on how you feel about the franchise, they've done a lot of work to grow from just what was ostensibly like a one-and-done action movie in 2014, and it's grown into its own universe. And now what they're releasing is called Ballerina, starring Ana de Armas. So let's go ahead and watch this trailer, and you can, again, let us know what you think of it. Okay, I want to point out, first of all, how much better the song use in this was than that awful Thunderbolts trailer that used the Pixies song, Where's My Mind, where they kept repeating the line, yeah, which was the most annoying thing in the entire world. Okay, so at least this involves the words Tiny Dancer, which I suppose fit into the trailer.
It's a very trailer.
Something that's very important here is like, look, people are going to be immediately suspicious when you put the 5'6" woman in this role, which is why they include the scene at the very beginning of the woman explaining, you're always going to be smaller, you're always going to be weaker, cheat.
Yeah.
Like, that's perfect. That's exactly what you should be explaining, because it's going to allow people to give you more leeway if you acknowledge that and then try to work into the script ways in which they do that. And there are a couple of those in here. The perfect example, obviously, besides this here, also good gun discipline through most of it. She brings the gun up into her workspace, eyes on it. This is good. But here's what I'm talking about. There's this. Oh, by the way, Lance Reddick. This will probably be his last credit, because Lance Reddick passed away last year. So having Ian McShane and Lance Reddick in this really connects it to the John Wick franchise every bit as much as having Keanu Reeves in it does. But there's one scene in specific, it's this one here, where this dude, who's like way bigger than her, just drops her over the plate glass, and she uses the leverage she has because he's dropped all his weight over this barrier to break the guy's arm. That's a very good way to use physics to your advantage in a situation where you would essentially be very, very easy to harm. Now, there are still plenty of scenes here which far suspend disbelief. I think the one with the axe being the worst example, where this dude probably would have just knocked her over when she stops the axe and then shoots him. But again, what matters in these types of movies is if you have good rapport with your audience, people are going to be willing to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Do we know if this takes place after the events of John Wick 4?
I don't know
he is,
chronologically
like,
where this
dead.
falls in the timeline.
Or he's dead with a question mark, right, at the end of John Wick 4. Sorry if that was a spoiler for you. But yet he has a cameo in this. I don't know.
This is what I love about these movies, though. You just know that they were sitting in a room, all of these dudes who have made action movies for 20 years and been stuntmen, and he's like, dude, what if we had like a hose versus a flamethrower?
Yeah.
That's great.
I think more than, unrealistic combat scenes making this difficult to appreciate is that a female character being motivated by revenge, just like we talked about with Furiosa, is a little bit hard to believe.
Yeah. I guess the idea here...
20 from Mr. Moose Knuckle. The Ballerina trailer is giving me how to make every blockbuster movie ever.
They're all like that.
Yeah,
man. All
it's very generic.
All action movie trailers are like that. But look, it also has, there was this shot here. These are quintessential John Wick, which is the neon lights at clubs and stuff like that. It's really funny. Just the other day, I watched 2 shows that had the same bathhouse, that used the same bathhouse that they use in the first John Wick movie.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I would think they all look pretty similar, but...
I think it could be a lot of fun. And again, if you develop a rapport with your audience, if you deliver 3 movies that give increasingly good action scenes that people buy into and people enjoy, they're going to be willing to suspend their disbelief for the work that you're giving if you work at it. And I think that they have.
Agree about the female protagonist motivations thing?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So she, obviously, this is basically a female John Wick. She's motivated to avenge the death of her father, which I thought was going to happen in a spin-off based on Rina Sawayama's character from John Wick 4, which was perfectly set up.
Yeah.
But then they're just going to do it again? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that one ends up going to TV.
It's just so lame.
Look, a lot of it is, there's suspension of disbelief there. It could, maybe the idea would be kind of like with Peppermint with Jennifer Garner. Maybe the loss of a child would be a better example of that.
They tried that with Jennifer Lopez in
but it worked
The Mother.
It worked in Peppermint. It didn't work in The Mother. Everyone knows The Mother was my worst movie of 2023.
I don't know. People just want to watch movies that star white guys. Is that crazy
Technically,
to say?
Keanu Reeves is not white, so
okay,
he doesn't
sure. But he basically, for all intents and purposes, he's a white guy. People want to watch movies of starring competent, hyper competent, aggressive, smart white guys.
Correct. That's really funny.
And this isn't what that is.
I pointed that out. I was talking to someone recently. I was like, you know why the Arrowverse even kicked off? It's because they made Oliver Queen, they just let him basically be Batman and be a hyper competent white dude.
Yeah, but it's just a little bit tiresome.
Now, I do not think it will do as well as the other John Wick movies.
Well, of course not, no.
But I do think that it will probably do fine at the box office. I think that the fans of John Wick will come out for it. Hold, please. Crisis Party.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys. Put a girl on.
They put a girl on. We have another 20 from Jose Quintana.
Okay.
Sasha Luss played a great assassin in Anna. The backgrounds for most of this genre are the same. I don't know if I would see this one. Long live PCC.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Again, I think maybe you could be right. Like maybe again, these movies aren't really known for their deep storytelling, other than the world building that they've done with the currency and the high table and all that stuff. It's not like you're looking for super deep and intricate storytelling. It's ostensibly in the original film it's the type of thing that really pulls at the heartstrings in a cheap way, which is like his dying wife mailed him a dog. and then the dog was murdered. It's emotional blackmail. And we love it.
Can't recall a theatrical release that starred Ana de Armas.
She was in The Gray Man. She was in Blade Runner 2040.
That was a streaming movie that she was a side
2049.
character in. She's also a side character in Blade Runner.
She was
star
in No Time to Die. She's not the star of it. She's not the star.
That's a big risk. Like, I don't know. She hasn't starred in a theatrical release that I've seen.
Who would you have can you think of someone? See, look, a lot of people thought that. A lot of people thought that Halle Berry's character. Oh my God, I got it right. Halle Berry, not Bailey. Halle Berry's character from John Wick 2, or was it 3, that she was going to be the one that was going to get this movie, her and the dogs. But they went with Ana de Armas.
Alas,
yeah,
they didn't.
So, let us know in the chat what you guys think about this. They're mentioning the Marilyn Monroe movie. That was a show, though, right?
It was a movie, but it was also on streaming, which is what I'm saying. I don't really see her in like big theater releases as the star of a movie. I haven't seen that.
Somebody said you said
forgetting something.
His wife mailed him a dead dog. No, his wife mailed him a dog, and then the bad guy, and then the Russian mafia killed him.
His wife actually just mailed him a dead dog.
We'll have to wait and see, guys. Look, I'm gonna go see it. It should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we'll review it.
Yep. All right. What would you like to see? Cringe or cute of the day?
Let's start with cringe.
Okay, cringe first. Let's see what we've got here. Oh, you sent me this. So this is what? This is somebody clapping back at...
It's a clapback video against Chappell Roan.
Okay, here we go.
I just woke up.
Well, good morning.
Obviously, fuck the policies of the right.
All right, we're on the same page on that one.
But also, fuck some of the policies on the left.
Oh, now you lost me.
That's why I can't, put my entire name and my entire project behind one.
I mean, that's kind of how voting works right now in America.
So, yeah, I'm voting for fucking Kamala.
All right, we're back on the same page. It's pronounced Kamala, though.
You know what? Endorsing someone, if someone is publicly endorsing a political figure, that doesn't even mean that they're gonna fucking vote for them.
I mean, what's the strategy behind that? I mean,
money.
Yeah.
Money.
The primaries. I don't think
virtue
that's
signaling.
I don't think there's any benefit to a corporation or person endorsing a candidate.
These are the worst glasses I've ever seen.
Can you see my degrees on the wall behind me and how educated I am?
He's wearing scrubs. He has to know what he's talking about.
Look at how smart I am.
You're losing me again.
No.
Wait, is he?
What?
He's wearing a Star of David.
Is he?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so
No.
primarily
this is not me
that's
playing
why.
both sides.
Sure about that?
I'm critiquing both sides because they're both so fucked up.
Yep, sounds like you're playing both sides.
Voting is all we have right now in the system.
I mean, that kind of is the system of democracy.
Ew.
But yeah, there's a lot.
Here, let me do the thing. We don't live in a democracy. We actually live in a constitutional republic.
This
Choosing
guy
between
is
elections.
just the worst.
I encourage it yet again. Vote for who, in your mind, is the best option.
I mean, wouldn't Kamala be more inclined with Palestinian, with helping the Palestinian people than Israel?
She made pro-Israel remarks at the DNC, so I wouldn't think most of the watermelons would be happy with that.
Okay.
for what we have right now.
Yeah, Kamala Harris is definitely our best option right now, as well as all the Democrats up and down the ballot.
And I hope
that's just a complete denial. You know what that is? It's the complete denial that there's any difference in policies, or it's the complete acceptance that he believes one thing and everyone in his party believes exactly that one thing, so you vote down the ballot, which is not how you're supposed to actually do it.
But that also is their strategy.
Yes.
So.
This makes it clear that no, I'm not picking the sides of what we have right now.
I mean, it kind of sounds like you've picked a side in terms of voting for Kamala Harris, but you just don't know much about the rest of the Democratic platform. But you can certainly read it. It's online.
Yes, one's obviously better than the other.
All right, we're kind of getting back on the same page again.
He's so snarky.
But Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh, boy.
I hope you don't settle for what we have and put your name behind someone that you don't fully trust.
I fully trust that Kamala Harris and all the Democrats up and down the ballot are going to protect democracy and make this country a better place.
I
Well,
hate
all right.
snarky leftist men.
That might have been the worst thing that I've ever heard in my entire life. The smugness. The smugness. Also, I maybe there would have been some weight there if he actually like mentioned policies, but he didn't really mention any policies or talk about it. He's kind of
just
acting
a good
on
effing person.
He's kind of acting on faith, right? You know, it was the idea that they've actually delivered what they said they were going to deliver on, because that's not true either.
Well, it's just funny because her primary like criticism of Biden and Kamala was about Palestine, and you said he was wearing a Star of David in the video.
Yes.
Okay, so then you don't have the same criticism.
Yeah.
End of discussion. I just I know Chapel Roan is kind of an idiot, but I feel bad for her because she's getting cornered right now by all of these rabid people.
Yeah, all because she has like the ability to think a little bit for herself.
Just
and
the
at least acknowledge that
tiniest bit.
I also look, maybe I'm just a dummy and I say that all the time. Look, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I'd like to think that I'm not a complete idiot, but the idea that there is such a thing as simplistic as good guys and bad guys in a business as disgusting, dirty, and corrupt as politics is childish in the extreme.
The Daily Brett politicians are evil.
They are.
Counter just went back to zero.
Remember, guys, it's not about party. The Uniparty is full of evil, corrupt sons of bitches that are out to be basically make themselves richer while you get poorer, and then blame you when everything goes wrong.
I just cringed at that, not because of any of his political takes, but because he is the definition of the smarmy, arrogant, out of touch, elitist prick on the left.
Correct.
He's just the worst type of person.
That was awful. That was awful. Thank you. That's the stuff that I actually work very hard every day to avoid.
That was like the rage bait of the day, maybe. For Brett.
Thank you for that. All right, let's move on away from the disgusting, corrupt, evil politicians.
We have cute of the day.
We do. Yeah, exactly. Why look at disgusting, evil propaganda when you can look at cute of the day? This one's from Adolfo. Here we go.
Aww.
That is amazing. Says, submitting my rescue cat, is that Alyosha? For PCC Cute of the Day, we will not be visiting Ohio or Haiti anytime soon.
I'm so glad you're protecting Ayosha.
Looks Sigma to me. The cat
Really?
looks very Sigma.
Is he a Sigma male?
That is a Sigma cat.
His tiny anime body pillow in that photo.
Hungry cat.
Aw.
See, the cat gets fed. The cat does not get
He's
fed to
very
someone.
polite.
He is.
Cute.
Looks like he's having a really, really fun dream there. All right, let's do one more here.
He's dreaming of his anime waifu.
All right, from Spastic Fugliness, he says, this is one of our 12 hens. She is part silky. Who knows what else? We call her Blackie. I wonder why. I guess that's her name. She is tiny and so docile compared to our other ladies.
Cute.
Very cute. And we will be showing more cute of the day tomorrow. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started now that we're doing okay. 48 minutes in the show.
Yes. Since the arrest of Sean Combs and following revelations about his criminality and debauchery and freak-off parties, a lot of people are going back and listening to Justin Bieber's music to hear whether he was trying to warn us about Diddy all of this time. And we know back when Usher was Justin Bieber's legal guardian, when he was first rising to fame, he brought him under Diddy's mentorship. And in an old video, he spent 48 hours with Diddy doing God knows what. I believe they have a transcript of that video here. So they said he's having 48 hours with Diddy where we're hanging out, and what we're doing we can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. Given this context, fans are revisiting Justin Bieber's Yummy music video, and the connections being drawn are pretty disturbing.
So what do the 15-year-olds dream? To like play Xbox or PS5 and
I hope so.
hang out?
I hope that they were just playing video games, but given what we know about Diddy now in 2024, that casts things in a pretty disturbing light.
Yeah.
And I don't even want to think about what happened in those 48 hours. But some people think that back in 2020, Justin Bieber released this music video for Yummy to give a hidden cry for help, or perhaps a secret warning about what he underwent as a child star.
Okay, before we even get into it, the creation of both a song and a music video and promotion goes through so many hands.
You can't buy it yet?
I don't buy it.
Well, here's what I'll say before we dive into the imagery and the lyrics from that song. The promotion for Yummy was very strange. There is a lot of suspicious stuff around the way that Justin Bieber promoted that song.
Do you want to explain what it was? Because I'm not
Yeah.
going to pull up the Instagram.
So first off, he posted an illustration of the word yummy in pizza letters, which obviously, Pizzagate was a total conspiracy theory. There's no truth to it. Not only that, but throughout the promotion of Yummy, Justin Bieber posted many photos to his Instagram, which are still up to this day. You can scroll back and see them. Justin Bieber posted many pictures of babies to his Instagram, all with the caption Yummy. These are all just random pictures of babies, and that's the way that he promoted this song. With no explanation. There was no connection to the purported meaning of the song for why that would be the promotion. It was very strange.
That is so strange.
Yeah, do you have like some of the links to those? I sent you like 12 different links to his Instagram last night because I was freaking out. And it was just like baby after baby after baby, and all of them had the caption on Justin's Instagram, Yummy.
Like, what does that even mean?
What the hell does that mean?
I have
And
no idea.
how is that connected to a song about your wife?
There's a 20 there.
Let me find it. Mr. Moose Knuckle said, I bet Justin would say Diddy no diddling in the same manner of swipe or no swiping.
So here was the original post.
yeah.
Right there. Hold on.
There's the Yummy pizza imagery.
Yep.
And then the rest of these were just photos of babies, which I'll say I believed all this time that the song Yummy was about Justin performing a sexual act on his wife.
Yeah.
Were
they married at the time?
I believe they were already married at the time. That's what I believed the song was about. But then when you watch the music video and you look into some of the lyrics, it doesn't seem related to his wife at all.
I'm sure she was very upset by that.
One lyric stood out to me. He said, lost control of myself, I'm compromised. You're incriminating, no disguise, and you ain't never running low on supplies. And we know Diddy was never running low on supplies.
As we know, because Costco had to deny that he got all his lube from there.
Yeah, he was buying in bulk. So this TikToker named Alexis May posted an analyzing video over the whole music video, and we can watch that instead of the whole thing. But it started off with him walking into a dinner party full of elites. Okay. And you see children performing.
So we're going to watch the lady's TikTok?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go, guys.
So with all of this Diddy stuff happening, I've heard a lot of people talking about the Yummy music video by Justin Bieber. I had never really analyzed this video before, so I did it, and it's disturbing. So the music video starts with Justin Bieber arriving to this party full of the rich, full of elites. There's music playing and dinner being served. I also want you to take notice of this girl right here in the red. She does play a part later in the music video. Justin Bieber sits down at a table, And of course, they all start eating. One thing I want you to notice though is this. Look at this sandwich. Just look at the placement of the bread. So this is a better picture of the bread. Why would his sandwich be placed like that?
Okay, wait,
the bread
pause.
is set up.
I know you're trying to stifle laughter right now, but think about the way that these things are planned out. The way that artistic directors do these things. To them, at least,
nothing is by
everything
accident.
does have a meaning.
I'm aware.
These directors make very calculated decisions about the imagery in these music videos. So I wouldn't discount it just on the basis that it's such a small detail. Like we know that from the Balenciaga scandal,
Breadgate.
This
like
is
a shield almost.
It's a shield. It's a shield.
Right, hear her out. Hear her out.
If you take a closer look at the sandwich, there's actually a cherry there.
Here's the worst part. I can actually picture the snobby art director explaining it that way in a really self-satisfied voice.
Which means she's right.
If that was
to look at it that way.
So the bread is set up to protect the cherry. So Justin is eating and having a good time with them until the gross food starts coming out like this. That's when he stops eating, and if you pay attention, the sandwich on the table is now turned around and it looks like something else. Here's a better look of that sandwich. It looks like a face with a tongue sticking out, like a pickle, and also olives on the sandwich, and the cherry is black, which may indicate that it's rotten. So they continue to party. Things
where we go one, we go all to the Justin Bieber music video.
Start getting a little lit. The
Bieber
lights
non.
go off. The women start to come out. So the black lights start coming on. Something very, very interesting to me though, and something that caught my eye instantly is this. Here's a better picture, a screenshot. This is a white party. This is a P. Diddy white party. Shocked. So they're out here partying, living their best life, and then all of a sudden it ends. And you see Justin here. There's a few things I want to look at here. So this red outfit is the same outfit that the young girl playing an instrument in the beginning was wearing.
Oh, okay.
Insinuating that she is no longer wearing that outfit and not around right now. Just as a reminder, this is the girl from the beginning. That face is not the face of someone who is over 18 years old, okay? I also think it's interesting that she's a musician in this scenario. Another thing about...
I mean, is that just her interpretation of it?
Well, it's set up where there's a group of children performing for elite rich people.
This server in the back is supposed to look like L.A. Reid. And then, of course, this, at the end of the music video, the cleared plate with Justin's baby face on it.
Yeah.
Yummy.
Okay, so is there something to it? Is there something to it after you've heard out her explanation?
Yeah, I want to see who actually did the music video.
I looked up the director. I wasn't able to find a lot out about him specifically, but it looked like he's deleted posts from back in 2020. This was in January 2020 when Justin posted this music video right before COVID lockdown period.
Yeah.
And then it was only a month later when he sat down for an interview with Apple Music where he, was recorded breaking down in tears over his feelings of protectiveness toward Billie Eilish.
Okay, so there's actually a segment here in the song's wiki about the connection to Pizzagate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a huge conversation at the time, and it's resurfacing now with what we know about Diddy having a strange mentorship relationship with Usher, who then was a mentor to Justin and introduced him to Diddy. So I do think that it might sound ridiculous to sit there and explain it in each minuscule detail, but obviously, as we know from the Balenciaga scandal, when artistic directors are putting together these sets and the props,
there is nothing there that is not supposed to be there. The pickle did not end up making it look like a face by accident.
Yeah,
that was
every
absolutely
single
done on purpose.
shot is meticulously planned and probably does have a meaning. And if I had to guess, I think Justin probably wrote this song about his wife, but ended up wanting to use the music video for something a little bit more deep and meaningful that a lot of people probably wouldn't have picked up on.
Yeah.
But now that we're looking back at his discography, it came out.
I can't look. I don't know what's the lore behind the song is to an extent that what would be the point of putting an image of himself as a child on the plate?
I would assume it's something about being consumed as a product.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, so if you were to take the non-Pizzagate route to explaining the artistic element of it, what would it be? That it's his music, him being consumed as a product, but then why make it him as a child?
And
because it happened when he was a kid?
Right.
Okay. So I'm just looking for the other possible reasonable explanation.
Which I don't blame you for, but now that people are looking into this music video, there have been plenty of clips from early on in Justin's career where you can see adult celebrities, not just in private, but fully in the public view, openly creeping on him in a sexual manner. First off, this clip of Jenny McCarthy has been going viral. She brought Justin up on stage at the 2012 AMAs and just literally assaulted him on stage.
This one right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
The American Music Award goes to...
Oh, they got it? Oh.
Justin Bieber!
Wow! I feel violated right now.
Yeah.
And I don't think he was joking because who wouldn't feel like that?
It's like the kiss on the cheek was one thing. Did you really have to then go for his neck?
She grabbed his neck, forcibly kissed him on the face and neck, and tried to grab him on the ass.
And then there was like a whole montage recently of like various women who have just kind of...
Yeah, there were several clips, not only of female celebrities, but also male celebrities creeping on Justin from the same time period.
Is that this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go.
Clips of Katy Perry, David Letterman, James Corden.
Wow! I feel violated right now. Who apparently wanted to know what a Bieber butt felt like.
Thank you. How old are you? I'm 16. I'll be 17 in like 2 weeks.
Ever remember smelling that little at 16? That was bad. Wow, you're right. What music you listen to?
Ellen showing Justin a naked photo taken by paparazzi.
Well, my parents never gave me the sex talk. Okay. So why don't you give me the sex talk?
I feel uncomfortable right now.
Oh.
Why do you want to know the sex talk from a 15-year-old boy? That's pretty weird.
That's a very reasonable question to ask.
Yeah.
French girl. Oh, yeah. It's a really weird question. And, only to see my mom was right there.
Things on blast, you know.
You want to say it again? You have beautiful lips.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you, bro.
You have great lips.
Thank you.
We're promise.
What is wrong with these people?
Yeah, serious.
Okay.
Yeah.
Want to
Just-
protect.
Yeah.
And then they show that clip from his interview only a month after Yummy came out, where he was crying about how he was scared for Billie Eilish being a teenager rising to fame in the music industry.
Her parents were music execs, right?
I believe they had some like screenwriting past.
I was gonna say, like, do you think kind of like who was it? Hillary Duff had parents that were in the industry. That the ones who have parents in the industry probably are a little bit, maybe hopefully safer than the ones who don't.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, I think Hillary Duff, her dad worked for Disney in some executive position. They also have resurfaced a tweet from Rihanna, which is still up, from 2010. Like back when Justin Bieber was 16, Rihanna's tweeted, "Justin Bieber flashed me his abs in the middle of a restaurant. Wow. He actually had a little six-pack. Sexy, LOL. Hashtag believers don't kill me." And this was just par for the course. Like, this was just normal to them.
Yeah.
And not only that, but Khloe Kardashian recalled running into Justin Bieber at one of Diddy's parties. I don't know if she was referring to a freak off, but here she is in the video.
I see you always gallivanting around to all these trips that Kim and I aren't invited on.
You wouldn't pick up for the weekend and leave your kids? You don't have help on the weekends.
I'm not saying I want to go.
I mean, press X to doubt.
Oh, dis.
So who was with you this weekend?
A bunch of my friends.
Diddy, Quincy, Justin Bieber,
so far
French
so good.
Montana.
Do you even know half the people you're naming?
No.
Are you drinking, Chloe? No. You have to get these margaritas out of here. Why aren't you drinking? Yeah, but
last night.
So that's basically it.
Yeah.
She said that she was at some party that was thrown by Diddy and Justin Bieber was there. I don't know. The whole thing just seems suspicious.
The montage is the most damning of all of it, with all of those events put into place, shows that.
That plus the promotion for Yummy being just pictures of babies.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to make
I
of
wonder,
that.
maybe he didn't even post those. Like, does he have complete control of his account, or is there other
I think
people?
so. Because looking back at his Instagram last night, I saw tons of posts where he's very outspoken about his Christian faith. And yeah, he's very much in control of his own social media. He knew what he was doing, and that must have been a very calculated choice. I'm going to promote this song that sounds like it's about my wife, but it's actually going to be full of all of these hidden meanings and hidden images about child abuse.
Yeah.
Like, I can't interpret it another way, especially showing the outfit that was worn by the little girl at the beginning of the video being draped over a chair after everyone has left.
I think one of the things that they have working against them, unfortunately, is like being connected to QAnon is an immediate issue for people who are not, for normies, right? They hear that and they're just like...
It can just be thrown into the conspiracy bin and
be just
disregarded completely.
Yep.
I also wanted to show this AI-generated song by AI Justin Bieber about going to the Diddy party.
Lost myself at a Diddy party.
It's kind of a bop.
Didn't know that's how it goes. I was in it for a new Ferrari, but it cost me way more than my soul. Wasn't worth all the fortune and fame. All the girls never walking the same. Signed the paper so he never has to ever say sorry. Lost myself at a Diddy party.
So
he should just buy the rights to it.
He should just release that.
He should just release it.
But yeah, it refers to, you know, signing some papers so you can't talk about it. Maybe that's why Justin Bieber hasn't talked about it openly.
Yeah.
Because there are NDAs involved.
I mean, NDAs don't cover crimes.
If we're to believe, you know, Rodney Jones's lawsuit claims, he runs a criminal gang.
It is a fake song. Matthew Phoenix in the chat. Yes, it is an AI generated song that somebody made. That's why we said he should just use it.
People don't stay silent because of a piece of paper that they signed. They stay silent because of threats.
Yes.
Basically. Yep. And that's what Rodney Jones's lawsuit claims, is that Diddy runs a criminal gang with fixers, with connections to the LAPD.
Kid Cudi gets his car firebomb.
Bro literally placed explosives in someone's car.
Yep.
And no one talks about it. So yeah, I guess if I were in a position where I knew incriminating information about this guy, I wouldn't be at liberty to just come right out to the media and say it.
Matthew Phoenix says now play Ryan Long's rap song. Yes, Ryan Long.
It was pretty good.
I kind of want to.
Like, it's hard to find humor in it.
Ryan Long always finds a way.
But he did find a way.
He's what was it? Was it Be Smooth or Too Smooth? Was the name of his?
I'm not sure.
Hold on. I got it here. All right, here we go, guys. Let's listen to this. We'll cut the segment before that.
Okay.
But we'll play this for you guys because we're mid-show. Here we go.
As an artist, formerly on Bad Boy Records in the 90s, I was as horrified as anyone to hear about the P. Diddy allegations. Lately, a lot of you internet weirdos have been going through my back catalog, trying to play with my name, taking lyrics out of context, and trying to find hidden meanings that just aren't there.
Diddy hit my G-spot every time. Yeah, Diddy hit my G-spot. I'm satisfied. Got a crop of new rappers. Yum, yum. Now it's lunchtime. Diddy getting his, and you know that I'll be getting mine. Free time, man, you know it's free time.
Hey, when you're doing crime, real certified G's.
I'm picturing him just like filming this music video in the street and the people walking by like, what the fuck?
Need a spot to go where they're going to be surrounded by other real certified Gs. And anyone who's familiar with street terminology knows that shooting up your ops house can be referred to as freak time. Now, if I personally had seen anything sus, I'd be the first one to tell you, because one thing Too Smooth has never been is a liar. 1,000 bottles, drawer full of toys, back rooms for the bad boys, soundproof, no noise. We never hire a bitch to do a man's job. Got my piece deep inside a man's consoles. Walking phony cause I paid my dues. Last night, I'm walking phony, should have seen the clues. Like the pills in the drink and the phones in the sink and the triple reinforced locked door clean. Don't think. 1,000 Bottles is a classic track about crime in a club. Drawer full of weapons, gun in your op's mouth. Seeing clues, someone's trying to set you up.
Did you hear the Canadian come out? He said, in your op's mouth.
Shot, having a limp after. I mean, this is classic gangster shit. If you listen back again, that's pretty obvious. I mean, people are gonna hear what they want to hear, but again, if there was anything
actually a
weird
good
going
rapper.
on, you would know. Too Smooth has always been an open book.
And we keep it on the DL. All the holes we fill. I'm moaning, but I'm the top spot in the morning. Bent over, tell Diddy explode. Ecstasy.
The man has a temper, and if he explodes, obviously the job gets canceled. Filling holes is shooting people, moaning because you get shot. And yes, obviously this type of criminal activity should be kept on the DL. Anyone who knows street life can attest that this isn't some gay innuendo.
I can't sit down, cause it hurts too much. I can't sit down, no pain, no gain. I can't do a number 2 and it's all because of you.
The song's about a fucking breakup. I can't do my number 2 girl because it hurts too much. Y'all are starting to piss me off. Next person to try to lump me in with this zesty shit, it's honestly on
Zesty
shit. Don't play like that. All right. Now that that's cleared up, my new album, Really Hard G's, will be available this Saturday on Rockefeller Records.
Did he hit my G-spot?
He's a good rapper though, for what it's worth. Maybe he should pursue that as a side hustle.
All right, let's do some
All
super
right.
chats.
Potatoes for Seamus said, "Happy almost 700 episode. Hi Brett, Mary, hail Mocha."
There will be no hailing of Mocha here today.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Happy Thursday, Brett and Mary. 50 Cent warned us, Supernatural warned us, but we didn't listen. Why didn't we listen?"
50 Cent's been in his element the last week, just
I
dunking.
saw someone say, like, I love that 50 Cent is flexing about just being a normal criminal.
He's like, look, just, you know.
So wait, what was there in Supernatural that warned us?
I don't know. I don't know what they're talking about.
About Diddy?
Yeah.
If Mary needs Zins for tomorrow, I can overnight some from my stockpile. If Brett needs 5-hour energies, go to the store. I ain't buying that ish for you. Yeah, the 5-hour energy is just disgusting.
Yeah, it is.
It really just tastes like medicine.
It does.
I can't do it. I tried. Actually, I think I accidentally pulled an all-nighter in high school once, and I stopped. Got an extra strength 5-hour energy to get through the day.
There's basically no difference between the two.
Yeah. I also didn't eat breakfast, and after I drank it, I just ended up having a panic attack in the middle of the day and going home.
Eating would have helped.
Yeah.
Eating would have helped.
DCNC said, "Bring on season 2 of PCC." Maybe it's time.
No.
Is it time for season 2?
Episode 1000.
We'll change it at
1001 will make it season 2.
Okay. We have to earn it. Shane H. Wilder said, "I'm still waiting for the PCC season 1 cliffhanger."
Yep.
Well, you'll have to be on a cliffhanger about the
Do one.
cliffhanger.
Actually, you know what? Let's hold off, and the rest will come back after the fact. Let's talk about what's going on.
All right. So the sequel for Ghost of Tsushima is just announced. The release date is out, and it's called The Ghost of Yōtei. Is that how you say it?
You're gonna have to. They don't mention it in the trailer. It's not pronounced.
Right. So The Ghost of Yōtei is starring a female protagonist, which has become a point of controversy. Pink News said Ghost of Tsushima 2 branded woke because its main character is ... a woman. And they say this is actually not a surprise because gamers are so misogynistic. This sadly is nothing new in the gaming community. Just recently, Baldur's Gate 3 and Elden Ring were among the games flagged on a curation page dedicated to weeding out the so-called woke titles, and Star Wars Outlaws came under fire seemingly because the lead character is, quote, ugly and chestless.
That's a whole nother, there's a whole nother discussion to be had about whether video game developers actively work to make the main characters that are women uglier
I think they definitely
than their
are.
actual voice and mocap counterparts.
Maybe not in this specific circumstance, but that definitely does seem to be a trend. And such misogynistic conversation is now circling Ghost of Yōtei ahead of its release next year.
Well, a lot of people, somebody in the chat has already mentioned, they said certainly it has nothing to do with the voice actress's personality.
Yeah, so there are two things here.
Yes.
They changed it from a male protagonist to a female protagonist. So that's controversial. Second of all, the voice actress for the main character of this game is in real life an annoying leftist. She's an activist who's all about, you know, trans rights. She's against
cops
the
are white
police,
supremacists.
defund the police type of woman. For that, maybe I'm missing something, but I don't see why whoever this person is in real life should matter. Like, she's annoying, okay. She's not in the game. Her face is in the game. Her voice is in the game. But she's not in the game saying defund the police.
Here's the thing. People are so on edge about this type of stuff now that any hint of impropriety that seems that the product is going a different direction immediately puts people's antennas up and they start to question whether it's going to be beneficial to the game. So maybe you're right, and that nothing in the game will indicate that. Certainly nothing in feudal Japan is going to be talking about that. Here's the problem. She's going to go on interviews. She's going to do a bunch of press junkets.
Is that ordinary for a voice actor to be doing press like that?
Yeah, they're going to do interviews. They're going to do stuff promoting the game. And people are going to wonder whether what's going to happen down the line is that this woman will use her promotion for the game as a chance to get on her soapbox. That's not what's happening yet. Certainly people might be jumping the gun, but you can't blame people for being on edge when there are so many examples in the past of this stuff happening. You mentioned Rachel Zegler because Rachel Zegler was actually criticizing the product itself, meaning she was criticizing the story in which Snow White was.
Yeah.
This is different, but it's not different. And it's kind of, it seems arbitrary sometimes which stories, which games, which movies, which television shows end up raising people's antennas. But I don't think that they're wrong to be a little bit apprehensive that it looks so vastly different.
Yeah, that's fair. One of these tweets said, apparently in Ghost of Yōtei, a progressive activist known for hating the police and telling straight women who disagree with LGBT to log off is not just the voice actor for the game, she's also the face and mocap of the new Sucker Punch title. It's an asset ready to save money. Another one said, Ghost of Yōtei actor Erika Ishii wants to abolish the police while starring in a game about playing a samurai, which is the equivalent to a peacekeeping officer in Japan at the time.
Again, people...
I'm sick of activism and gaming, dude. These people can't be serious. The game takes place in 1602. Atsu would have been a police officer / samurai in Japan at the time. And if they're a Ronin, that's even worse. Because in activist gobbledygook terms, a rogue police officer is like the worst thing they could become. Flame me all you want, you know it's true.
A Ronin would be a samurai with no master. So yeah, it's a police officer with no chief of police.
So theoretically, if this woman believes in ACAB, she is performing in a video game that goes against her beliefs. I don't know.
Again,
seems like a little bit of a reach.
But the point is you invite this type of criticism when you are that vocal about your beliefs.
Definitely.
That's just the way of the world. Like when me and Mary were having a whole discussion before this about whether they're even connected. And I said, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. What doesn't matter? It doesn't matter whether it's actually connected. It doesn't matter whether there's an actual one-to-one comparison. What matters is how it's perceived. Because the perception is reality as far as its ability to be marketed. The trailer looked great. The visuals looked fantastic on the game. I thought it looked fine. But bad press can have a domino effect. It can be a snowball rolling downhill. And the first game, from what I understand, got like awards for being so culturally like accurate.
Yeah. As did the Assassin's Creed games. Like
Well,
they were
but
celebrated.
awards, but yeah,
they were celebrated for the same reasons, which is also hanging in the balance right now. But here were some of the takes. One person said, Ghost of Tsushima sequel stars a Japanese woman samurai warrior, because of course it does. They can't help themselves until every franchise that was built on masculinity is replaced by women. Ghost of Yōtei is hopefully a smaller spin-off game, but if this is the true sequel and this is the new main character, F that. So sick of the forced girl boss narrative.
This is what I think is funny about it is it can be done well. And maybe it is done well here. I didn't see anything in that trailer that was off-putting. But the thing is you always start yourself behind the 8 ball when you do it, when you go against what was typical or normal of the time, right? I told you I was watching that show earlier. The guy is the hyper-focused detective. The woman works at a library. And they fit right into their roles. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't women who are not, dedicated cops or detectives. But the point is if you're looking to immediately have people latch on to a sense of realism, traditional gender roles still play a role for a lot of people.
Right.
So you're setting yourself behind the 8 ball where now you have to prove yourself to them even more than you already would if you had just gone a traditional route. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't make changes if you feel like you can make it work. Certainly it could. But I'm just trying to point out to people that there is an eventuality. There is an aspect of this that it's not even to be judgmental. It just is what it is.
This was a badly calculated risk on their part.
It seems like.
Do you want to end the poll?
Let's see what they say.
We asked you in the poll if you're sick of female protagonists, not just in video games, but also
a lot
movies,
of people,
TV shows in general.
Also, a lot of people in the chat that said no person in their right mind has ever actually called Elden Ring woke.
I haven't heard that before either.
Neither have I. 81% of you say yes, you are sick of female protagonists. You bigots, you.
And I wanted to give a cop-out answer that would say yes, only if they're woke.
I said
no.
But
we weren't going to give you a cop-out. And I think it's entirely fair to say that you're sick of female protagonists, but don't act like there's some other reason, Well, like you can just say that.
And to anybody who might think that I'm making excuses for that, we just watched a trailer for Ballerina that I was very excited about because they made an effort in world to explain why it works. However small that might have been. They make the effort to have the lady say, as a woman, you're always going to be smaller. You're always going to be weaker. You have to do something to give yourself an advantage.
Yes,
Even the smallest effort.
They tried to meet you halfway.
Yes, exactly.
Something like that.
I saw lots of nuanced discussion of people writing novels about why they think this will or will not work. And what's annoying is that it gets boiled down to sexism.
Nina Infinity said, why are so many dudes freaking out about Ghost of Yōtei being a female protagonist? If the story is good, what's the problem? Can we not throw out the baby with the bathwater? Another one from Master of the TDS. I think people are jumping the gun with the Ghost of Yōtei reveal. If you want to criticize the actions of those involved in the game, that's fair. But using that as a reason to dismiss the game is dishonest. When we make assumptions right out of the gate, we're just giving more ammo to our critics. By all means, keep reporting, researching, and being skeptical, but don't turn into what they accuse us of by throwing out blanket judgments. So that was about the concerns around the voice actor and her, public political beliefs.
Again, those are perfectly reasonable, well described takes that will be boiled down to sexism.
Right. And now we have the racism story in regard to Assassin's Creed Shadows, which has just been delayed to February 2025. They said, "Dear players, Assassin's Creed Shadows is a dream project for us, finally bringing the series to feudal Japan with many features developed with our community in mind, all set in a beautiful, immersive world. This is an ambitious addition to the franchise, a rich experience that can be lived through the eyes of two unique protagonists. But we realize we need more time to polish and refine the experience, pushing further some of our key features. As such, we've made the decision to postpone the release date to February 2025. The game will release on a broad range of platforms. Additionally, pre-orders will be refunded and all future pre-orders will be granted the first expansion for free. We understand this decision will come as disappointing news, especially to those who've been waiting patiently for an Assassin's Creed game inspired by feudal Japan. But we sincerely believe this is in the best interest of the game and ultimately your experience as a player. Rest assured, we are looking forward to the moment we will embark on a memorable adventure with Naoe and Yasuke. Until then, we thank you for your ongoing support."
Financial analyst describes Ubisoft's sales collapse and delaying of Assassin's Creed Shadows as total meltdown as stock price collapses.
One of the responses said, 3,000 people have worked on this game. The pre-orders were so bad, they're now baiting people with the promise of a free DLC. Their staff, by their own admission, are more focused on workplace water cooler culture than their own work. Poor leadership and the inability to tell people this is bad, do better, has caused this game to be a nightmare for them. This directly contradicts what they've been trying to say, that everything is fine. This isn't new. If you didn't have this down at first and bring this up here, this is pathetic. But thanks for showing us all the environmental destruction. You didn't develop any of this with the community in mind. The community wanted a dope Japanese story that took place in Japan based off of the rich Japanese history available with Japanese protagonists. And you went and pat yourself on the back with a story that's been told before. You messed up seasons, architecture, stole art and logos, and the trailers were full of graphic issues. What's worse, a long list of people approved all that as the best you had to show. You can't change the sentiment of disrespect now the people have seen you have for Japan. The team has officially fried the last of the goodwill they had with this community.
Yeah.
So do you think that it's going to be a disastrous release for them, the likes of Concord?
I don't know about Concord levels, but you know,
it turned out that they spent more money than we even thought on Concord.
It was like, what, $400 million?
Approaching $400 million, which is a worse failure than most box office bombs that we talk about on the show.
I'm not a historian. Were female samurai a thing?
I don't think so, but who am I to say? I didn't know about Yasuke. I didn't know that he existed.
Yeah.
I also saw this hilarious reply from Kong Min Lee. He said, just delay it forever. No one wants to play as a black dude killing Asians in feudal Japan. We see enough of that in San Francisco.
Oof.
Just big oof.
Look, all of it's up in the air right now, and what I find most interesting is that people are they're not willing to give you the benefit of the doubt like they were 10, 20, not even 10 years ago, 20 years ago, right? People see something that feels off and their hackles are immediately up and they're going to start questioning everything. In a lot of ways, I feel like the best thing you can do is to just make a new game rather than continue the series. Right? Though I have noticed, like, originally there was backlash for Grand Theft Auto doing a female protagonist for 6, but I haven't seen as much of that discussion online after the trailer.
The question is, does that mean that the culture war has poisoned some people's brains, or does it mean that their caution is actually a totally fair response? And ultimately, it doesn't really matter why they're reacting this way, because they are the customers, and there used to be this idea that the customer is always right because people vote with their dollars.
They win in the end anyways.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, the customer wins in the end anyways by not giving you their money.
You either save your money or you spend your money and enjoy the product that they gave you.
I think
it's a win-win for the customer.
I think that caution is a perfectly reasonable response. I do think that some of it gets to be over the top, but that's why me and you have that discussion all the time about why I'm not a fan of using the term woke for stuff anyways, because as a descriptor, it's not the reason. If I criticize a movie, it's got to be pretty blatant for that to be the reason as to why I don't like a movie, right?
I mean,
beyond just using that word. There has to be more to it, right? There has to be reasons you criticize it, because that as a shorthand doesn't actually mean anything, because you could ask 10 people online and 10 people will tell you something different about what that means. I'm not even necessarily inherently opposed to all of it. It's like, I remember Tyrone Magnus once said, like, just because it's woke doesn't mean it's awful. Like, you can do progressive themes and stuff in games and still, or in movies and games, and still have it be done well. Granted, not very often.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to criticize something, it has to be for actual reasons that I can point to in the movie and not just use a word.
Yeah, and this came up when we were talking about the underperformance of Mad Max Furiosa.
Yes. Which I didn't
Which a lot of people called woke.
Look.
And we were like kind of puzzled by that.
No. Again, here's the problem with that. On its face, you have taken a series that's about a male and given it a spin-off about a woman.
Yeah.
Now, you could say the same thing about Ballerina, which just is the exact same concept.
Yes.
And the thing is it said Furiosa, a Mad Max saga.
Yes.
And Ballerina said from the world of John Wick, meaning that they still rely on the men in the franchise to sell that movie. Right? The name is still there.
Yeah.
Okay? That doesn't necessarily mean, like, does that qualify as woke? Yes. Does that make the movie bad? No. Not inherently.
Yeah, that's fair. I think
a gender swap in a franchise like that, and not even swap, a gender pivot in that franchise is automatically going to get that label. That doesn't mean that that movie's bad. But again, antennas up, hackles up. People are going to be questioning it right from the beginning, as opposed to making Ballerina a movie about a different character that had nothing to do with John Wick.
Yeah, and maybe writing something off prematurely would prevent you from enjoying something that really could be appreciated, but at the same time, I cannot blame the people who immediately throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Exactly.
At this point.
I get that idea from all of them. It makes perfect sense to me. When it comes to movies specifically, I tend to be more forgiving. It's television shows that I don't give the benefit of the doubt. If you're going to ask me to watch 8 hours of some bullshit, you don't get a bunch of benefit of the doubt. If you're asking me to go to a movie, I'll do that because we'll review it on the show.
In
right?
regard to the public activism of the voice actress, the mocap actress, maybe this is just because we talk about movies and shows far more often than video games, but I just didn't see why that would be the reason for anyone to boycott. But again
I don't know
it doesn't really matter why people are boycotting.
Exactly.
They just need to correct the course.
My exact point is like if I'm the studio head, if I'm the person in charge of hiring, you just don't risk it. Just don't risk it. There's 1,000 people that can do that job. Find someone who is going to cause you less problems in the press. No hate to the lady. Go make a game for that audience. But I'm saying that you have to understand that it doesn't really matter if it's fair. It matters whether it's going to have an effect on the bottom line. If it will, then you have to make a choice. Do you want to promote your social activism online? Good. But understand that it may, in some respects, affect how your work is perceived.
Right. Welcome to capitalism.
Yeah. Well, they would have a problem with that too.
Well, still, it's like you're existing in that system, offering your skills for, in exchange for your salary, right?
All right, let's go super chats.
Potatoes for Seamus said, Brett, put Olivia Clare on with Mocha in a costume.
No, there will be no Mocha.
In a costume?
There will be no Mocha.
I think you've made yourself very clear at this point. Surenko Production said, I'm sick of self-insert female protagonists.
What was the self-insert?
In this situation? I don't know. Shane H. Wilder said, how did we not know when Diddy's last album called Johnson & Johnson? I don't listen to Diddy, so you could just convince me that happened. Brian Bledsoe said, don't be surprised if Johnson & Johnson became pro-life all of a sudden to make up losses. It's all about the Benjamins baby oil.
That was amazing. It's all about the Benjamins.
I don't think that would help them, though.
No.
Greg Duvier said it's actually better that the 700th episode tomorrow and not today. Friday is a better day to have better to have a day fun and celebration.
Yes, I agree. And then there's a 20 there.
Dr. Larsena said, to answer regarding female samurai, yes and no. Yes to female members of the samurai buke class, who were sometimes trained to defend their home, usually with a naginata. I don't know how to say that. No to female law officers in the samurai era, no chance. Well, that doesn't particularly matter to them, keeping it historically accurate. Jose Quintana, Sirenko Production said, thanks for the recommend, Brett. I watched Murder in a Small Town last night, and it seems to be a return to good 2000s TV shows rather than activism centered.
See, and that's my point, is there is moments in there where there's this whole time I'm watching it, right? I'm waiting for everyone to start being pissy. I'm waiting for her to start being snarky. I'm waiting for unnecessary conflict between the people that work there. And it just doesn't come. And it's light. There's mystery. It's a lot of fun. One of the best parts is anytime they make great use of the on-location shooting, which I don't know if it was just really good green screen, but if you're inside, they're in these houses with great open window architecture, so you get to see these picturesque landscapes behind them, and the visuals help you get lost in the storytelling. And the fact that the main suspect of that is also friends with the librarian, who has now ended up on a date with this guy, makes perfect sense, because it's not a coincidence. It's just a town of only however many people, right? But you get storytelling where characters can say something that might be considered a little bit prejudiced, but they're not bad people. The dude just didn't know any better, and he's not treated like some type of leper by this guy. I can't say enough about how much different Hollywood could be right now if they had not spent the last 10 years trying to show every social ill as being something at the hands of an awful person as opposed to perhaps just an uninformed person.
Yeah, I mean,
they lost a lot of goodwill.
What's crazy is that, you know, if you go to small towns, you don't really hear people making racial remarks all the time anyway.
No,
So
again,
I don't see why it needs to be there.
it only got brought up in this because it was in the course of an interrogation where he's asked to describe a person that he saw and he has to describe their race and he feels uncomfortable doing it because immediately they start thinking like,
Yeah, but that's just because he has a white savior complex.
because he says, he's a black guy. He goes, I'm sorry, person of color, but it's not done in like a snarky way.
Yeah. DC&C said trailer, blueprint, bois, tiny dancer cover, etc.
It's always the remix of the. It's always the dark remix of the classic song.
Slowed and reverb, echoey version of whatever song it is.
Yes,
I just
exactly.
roll my eyes into space.
Let's do one more.
Thank you, guys.
They're eating the bulbs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat.
Omega Red fan said. Hold on. Omega Red fan said, I miss early 2000s trip hop music being in movie trailers.
Give me an example. Send me a trailer of something you're thinking of. That would
What,
be
like
fun
the
to-
Gladiator 2 trailer?
The new that's another one we missed. The second Gladiator trailer was good. They at least ditched the rap music.
I didn't watch the second trailer.
Yeah, the second trailer. It was much
I guess
better than the
they
first.
wanted to correct the mistakes
Yeah.
of the first one. I don't know.
Well, they did the exact same thing in the Assassin's Creed movie trailers, where in the first one they used like a Kanye song, and everyone's like, "This doesn't really fit with the Spanish Inquisition." So let's hold off on the rest.
Right.
Let's come back after the fact. It's time to talk about why it's just so difficult to be a hot person these days.
Yeah. There's a lot of discourse about privilege and oppression in the current year. And most frequently, I see people talking about pretty privilege, saying it doesn't exist, but also if it does exist, it's evil. And I think that there is some credence to the idea that hot people in 2024 are, you know, having a rough time. They're having a rough go of it. So on Reddit, a thread asked, attractive people, what was your horrible experience for being attractive? Now, first off, this is on Reddit, so there are 0 hot people on Reddit. We already know that.
So this is all fan fiction.
So this is all just fan fiction, people who use Reddit or chronically online who for some reason believe that they are hot.
Mm-hmm.
But let's entertain the idea nonetheless. Here were some of the responses. I read once that the dark side of pretty privilege is that you are lusted over and not loved. And that has always stuck with me. I honestly wish I had read it earlier in my life because it's so true.
Maybe she's just not lovable.
It's just so hard to have people throwing themselves at me all the time.
Is
I'm
this
just
like
so
a
hot.
weird
It's
offshoot?
debilitating.
Is this like a weird offshoot of the porn stars who are like, I can't find love?
Do they say that?
Yes,
I mean, a lot of them end up married.
Yeah, to other people in the business, but they're like,
Usually.
it's so hard to meet somebody outside of the industry, and everyone's like, shocking.
Yeah, it's like almost a consequence of your actions. But in this case, you know, if you're hot, you can't help being hot. You could try to make yourself ugly, but it's not going to work. Another response said, people want you or want something from you, but sometimes they don't see you as a whole person.
I mean, people could say the same thing about rich people who they just see as, you know.
Well, yeah, but you could also donate all of your money so that you aren't an evil billionaire anymore. A lot of women in the thread said that they find it hard trying to have friendships with men because all of the men are pretending to be their friend to get in their pants, which brings up a whole new debate. Can men and women be friends in general?
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
You know.
Can they be friends?
I have no idea.
Do you have female friends?
I have female friends.
So you think you can?
Yeah. Yeah.
It is
I do.
possible.
Yeah, I do. But again, that's a vastly different thing. It depends on how long you've known them. What your relationship is to them outside of like, did you know them from a group of friends? Like I have like, and again, I don't even really talk to any of them anymore, but did have friends that were all part of the same group because either they knew people that I knew or I knew people that they knew, but we didn't hang out one-on-one.
Right. I think that it is possible for men and women to be friends, but people need to understand that you just can't have the same level of closeness, even if you tried, with the opposite sex friend that you would have with a same-sex friend.
Yeah. Also, men and women are going to look at this differently.
Yeah, well, this is self-reported hot women saying that they can't be friends with men because men always try to use that friendship as an in.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the idea, right? Is everyone's suspicious of the guy who just hangs around the girl. Especially if he gives her, he gives her like a lot of attention and stuff like that. That's sus as fuck.
The nice guy has turned into such a reviled archetype because he, believes that he's this virtuous person who deserves. He like deserves the affections of this woman. He's an offshoot of the male feminist. Right, exactly. Yeah. Because like I'm nice and you just want to go for all the bad boys, but it's like
this is different than what I think.
Maybe you're not as nice as you think you are.
This is very different from what I think of as like the people that I know, both men and women that I'm friends with these days. What that amounts to is sending memes. That's friendship for me in a lot of ways.
That's totally different.
Outside of people that I know from work, right? Like there's no women that I'm just calling to go hang out with. No, not at all.
I think this was from a male. He responded, I had a genuine stalker in university. A girl in my class was obsessed with me to the point where it was genuinely very unsettling. So I guess the hot men also have their own problems. Another one said negging, being attractive enough to get hit on, but when you're not interested, they pick out something to make you feel like shit about so that they don't feel bad for being rejected by you. Negging is a huge pet peeve of mine.
Really? Happen a lot to you?
I don't know if I would say a lot, but when it does happen, I'm just like, how do you think that that's attractive?
Yeah.
So I feel like it's only attractive to women with low self-esteem, which I wouldn't consider myself to be one of them.
Yeah.
Huge pet peeve of mine. And also like dudes never being able to see you as a friend. But I think after we talked about Liv Schmidt earlier this week, who got censored on TikTok for making videos about staying skinny, making workout videos, stuff like that. It literally is just jealousy. Like
against the fact that she's skinny and attractive and everybody else is fat and ugly.
Yeah, well, and also the fact that she wasn't trying to lie to people and say that it's effortless.
Yeah.
I feel more disrespected when they try to tell you that it is effortless.
It's really easy. Just follow these steps. Buy my course.
She's being transparent and honest that it's not easy. One person said that her friends are suspicious of her for like stealing their husbands.
Okay. I mean, is that just an evolutionary response?
Yeah, but at the same time, like you should have a stronger friendship than that.
Yeah.
You should be able to trust someone. Yeah. I think it's already proven that hot people are more trusted and seen as more intelligent.
Like you're far more likely to look upon a hot person and think of them as smarter and more trustworthy, which never made any sense to me.
They get higher salaries too, on average. Yep. So a lot of these people were saying if you're hot, people think that you're dumb. Literally, like, that's just scientifically not true. Like, we've already found out that if you're attractive, people assume that you're smarter than you are. Yeah. So pretty privilege, like, it is a real thing.
It absolutely is.
Like, there's so much talk about privilege these days that people want to just kind of throw out the whole idea. But you're privileged if, like, you were born into wealth.
If you were born into America, you're already more privileged
if you were born
than 90% of the world.
In the West in general, especially the U.S. Yeah. If you were born into, a family with great, like, social connections with people who could give you jobs. And yes, if you were born objectively more attractive than the rest of society, like, that is an unearned privilege. I just don't think there's anything wrong with taking advantage of it if you have it.
Nope.
Like nepotism too.
Nope.
Don't act like it doesn't exist, but
if a girl is born conventionally very attractive and wants to go be a model rather than a scientist, that is her God-given right.
And if she wants
If a guy is born handsome and wants to be a male model rather than, go and be a professional athlete or a scientist, that is his God-given right.
Mm-hmm.
If he wants to go sell cars because women will buy an SUV from him because he looks more trustworthy, you know?
I haven't experienced this firsthand, but a way that any woman could experience pretty privilege is by being a woman in STEM. If you're a STEM major, I've heard so many women say this, you're likely going to be one of maybe a handful of women in any of your classes. Mm-hmm. And the men either completely shut you out and shun you, or they're huge simps.
It's really funny. It makes me think of who remembers the scene in Casino Royale where James Bond is on the train with Vesper, and he's like they're basically like analyzing each other, and he points out, he says that she's very, very pretty, but she dresses in a slightly masculine way as a way of pushing back. Mm-hmm. And he says, ironically, making it less likely for you to get promoted by your male colleagues.
Yeah, but is that like a feminist talking point, or is it?
It's kind of given in that way. He's actually saying like it works against you that you do that,
mm-hmm.
even though she's good at her job.
I don't think there's anything wrong with using feminine wiles to get what you want in life.
Who's more objective about their own gender, women or men?
These days? Mm-hmm. Like about their own gender in what way?
About like the attractiveness of
their own attractiveness?
Of their own genders, of like other people in their own, because we were talking a lot about jealousy about women who's more objective about their own gender.
Oh, it's got to be men, because all I see on every girl's selfie post, even if she looks like a 1, is that you like that type of like slay queen, you're perfect, you're beautiful. And it's almost like they get more of those comments if they're objectively,
because they makes them feel good about themselves.
They're patting themselves on the back by complimenting the ugly friend.
Yeah.
And right now, some people are denying that even any objective standards of beauty even exist. So how would pretty privilege exist if there weren't any objective standards for attractiveness?
I mean, because it's unspoken. Like the way that the privilege asserts itself is through unspoken means, like getting hired for a job as opposed to the less attractive person. It's not that person's going to come out and say that they think you're more attractive. It's that you're just going to get more opportunities.
So the first example I thought of for someone who has complained about the dark side of pretty privilege was Megan Fox.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you remember, back in 2009, she starred in a movie called Jennifer's Body, and it failed at the box office because the people who were in charge of marketing the movie just thought, well, Megan Fox is starring in it, so let's make her sex appeal the whole point of the marketing campaign for this movie, instead of what it's actually about.
That's a hard movie to market through trailers.
It definitely was. Yeah. It had like a cult revival later on, but at the time it was a massive failure. And she talked about, going through that period of time, saying it was her favorite movie she ever starred in, but it aligned with a rough period of her personal life. Quote, "There's just something about the timing of that and how it aligned with my public crucifixion I was going through and my internal psychological breakdown. What the character was going through was very much a metaphor for what I was going through in Hollywood and with the media and the world at large." Can you tell me what she was going through in 2009 that amounted to a public crucifixion?
She was kind of seen as whiny because of the stuff on Transformers, like complaining about having to work 12-hour days for Michael Bay.
He's literally Hitler.
That's literally what she said.
She did, in fact, compare him to Hitler, and that lost her a role in the third Transformers
Which is
movie.
Funny, because then, just to be petty, he hired like Rosie Huntington-Whiteley, who's basically a Victoria's Secret model with like no acting experience.
He's like, Megan Fox is always going to be too short to be a Victoria's Secret model.
Take that, woman.
Take that, Megan. But she's talked extensively about, what it's like to be an attractive woman and how it comes with a lot of downsides as well.
But here's the problem. No normal person who's not that is ever going to have any sympathy for you. You are fighting the losingest of losing games there could possibly be.
Yes.
It's like a 7-foot tall person who plays pro basketball complaining about how difficult it is to fly.
Well, look, Brett, I just want to let everyone know that hot girls have problems too. And I know that because I watched the music video for Hot Problems 12 years ago.
That's where you learned of this.
Yeah.
Here we go.
They taught me an important lesson.
Look at me and tell me the truth. What do you do?
Mary shows this to me and goes, how have you... She actually was like surprised I had never heard of this.
I was. It was a big deal, I thought.
What we go through. They see my blonde hair.
New Crisis Party song?
Blue eyes
No.
in class. But they don't know I have a really big heart. Don't get me wrong. I know that I'm hot.
They're like 12.
But textbook perfection really takes a lot. Weird guys call my phone. And girls call me names. But like Mike said,
I'm sorry. Ladies, if you're going to wink at the camera, you need to practice first. Winking it's not something you can just do, okay? It's not easy. A good wink takes work.
Try it in the mirror first.
This is the worst thing I've ever seen
Wait
in my
for the
life.
chorus.
hot girls, we have problems too. We're just like you, except we're hot, 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 hot. The world needs to open their eyes and realize we're not perfect.
Did they inspire Rebecca Black, or did Rebecca Black inspire them?
Lie. I got the
Same time period?
Came out in 2012, so Rebecca
the
Black
same
might have
song.
been beforehand.
Okay.
But those things don't make me a boys
Okay,
call
I
me
can't watch anymore. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I just had to share that absolute gold mine of satire.
In the chat, Nightcall says dies of cringe.
I know it's cringe, but like I think they were onto something.
Think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, it's just going to be very hard for people to look at somebody who's super attractive and be like, wow, woe is you. Your life is so difficult.
Definitely. Especially in Megan Fox's situation where she was complaining about being over-sexualized in Hollywood. Like, girl, what would you be doing without Hollywood?
Yeah.
Especially because, you know, you choose the roles you take and you create your own boundaries with what you're willing to do for fame. She's saying, like, I was ahead of the curve with Me Too, with the Me Too movement, because I called out Michael Bay.
For being mean and making me work a lot.
Well, didn't she also say that Michael Bay, like, objectified her or like put her in objectifying situations
In the movie?
in the movie?
Yeah, it was awesome.
But like that was one of her main complaints.
I mean, boo-hoo. Sorry you had to have a tiny little robot transformer hump your leg.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do about it?
It was a different time.
It was a great time.
What year was that?
The first one was 2007,
right?
and then Dark of the Moon I think came out in 2008 or 9. I'm sorry. Revenge of the Fallen came out like right after that and was like a victim of the writer's strike. So, and I still love both of those movies. And I don't care what anyone says, and I think they're fantastic.
We're very happy that society has evolved and progressed.
As far as I'm concerned, the end of the first Transformers movie where he's like kissing her on the hood of Bumblebee while Optimus Prime looks off into the sunset and gives the rousing speech, that was when America peaked.
Bumblebee was kind of getting violated
a little bit, like
a little bit.
Like if you take into account the fact that Bumblebee is like sentient, he's basically letting a bunch of humans get down on him. That's a little weird.
It's like, hey, I'm a person.
But other than that whole speech, that was when America peaked as Linkin Park plays in the background.
We used to be a country.
We used to be a country.
A proper country. All right, let's finish up our super chats. Greg Duvier said Ballerina is totally unnecessary but looks fun. Well, all movies are unnecessary.
Oh, there's that argument again.
Aren't they?
It didn't need to happen.
Sirenko Productions said, hot take, I actually really enjoyed The Last of Us 2 since I didn't have a strong connection to Joel getting the golf club as most people.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Zach in the chat says Revenge of the Fallen was fine. Bro, you're a legend for saying that, because that's basically just you and me in the world that think that movie's okay.
I think that the reason it pissed people off so much for them to fridge Joel like that was it was just totally without warning. And then it was like, boom, lesbianism.
Yeah.
And
like you couldn't have waited till the end of the game.
Well, it was like, obviously it's the sequel to the first game, but it's like you were just introduced to Ellie as a child and then boom, we're going to kill her father figure and make her a lesbian.
Yep.
It's pretty self-explanatory.
Modernity!
Yeah. Sarenko Productions said, but I doubt Bella will be able to carry on her own. Bella Ramsey?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Again, that's what I'm saying. You need, whatever your thoughts are on Pedro Pascal, he is the most gifted actor on the main cast.
What is his biggest thing? Is it Mandalorian?
Probably the Mandalorian.
Where he does no facial acting?
But that's not him. I mean, he's literally the guy you just put in everything now. That's his job, is to be the guy. I mean, a lot of people...
overrated.
He was in, what, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent with Nicolas Cage. He's been in so many things. I still remember him randomly as the guy who plays the FBI agent who's like Mike Warren's handler in Graceland for 5 episodes.
Shane H. Wilder said the T levels of both in Cringe were the same. Yeah, and that's an insult to the guy, not Chapel Roan.
Yes.
Potatoes for Seamus said the only Sigma cat is none other than mocha bread.
No, you're wrong. Oh, here's his, like, look at this. Just put him in everything.
How long has he been working?
Yeah, a long time.
Because I only heard about him from The Mandalorian.
All the way back to 1999.
I mean, he obviously is a more technically skilled and experienced actor than Bella Ramsey.
Correct.
But I still think he's overrated as hell.
It looks like it's he's get a bunch of like single episodes of like the Law and Orders and the Without a Traces, but then you get into like he does 2 episodes on Criminal Intent, which, by the way, as far as anyone's concerned, is the superior Law and Order series with Vincent D'Onofrio. Don't at me. And then he's in...
They're gonna at you.
I know. He was in the Burn Notice, The Fall of Sam Axe, which I only watched once. As much as I love the show, I never watched the made-for-TV movie about Sam. I watched it the one time. But then you start getting more episodes all the way up here. And then, of course, Game of Thrones was where he really reached fame.
Okay, I never watched Game of Thrones, so I didn't see him.
Yep.
Prometheus 1987 said better ingredients, better pizza.
Oh.
Papa John's.
Unless they're making reference to my message from yesterday in my tweet from yesterday about going to, so where I get my my haircut, there's a Little Caesars there, which I've never gone to, but I decided.
Wait, is it Little or is it Lil?
Little Caesars.
Is that a Mandela effect?
It's just Little Caesars.
Could have sworn it was Lil.
So I'm walking out of the Little Caesars, and then it's like,
what did you order?
Italian cheese bread.
Just that? No pizza?
Yeah, because I was eating other stuff at home that night, so I didn't get a full pizza. But it's hilarious. I walk out of Little Caesars, and it's right next to a Five Guys. And I walk out of the Little Caesars as this old lady walks out of the Five Guys, and she gets into her like Mercedes or her Lexus, and I get into my Camry, and I'm like, perfect socioeconomic symmetry. Because you're not going to Five Guys in this economy.
Because you need to drive a Mercedes to afford Five Guys these days.
Pretty much.
It just depends on how much you need it. You know?
Yep.
John Cunningham said, I wholeheartedly trust Harris and all the Dems down the ticket to protect our democracy. That is called a cult and is, in fact, frowned upon in most societies.
That's true.
Rhaegar Targaryen said, I just learned this week zesty means gay. I don't know if I had heard that one before, but it's better than fruity. It's a step up.
Guys, we're like halfway to a 3rd crisis party. Let's go.
Let's go?
Let's go.
Steven Scray said there's no shot that anyone has ever actually complained about Elden Ring being woke.
There you go.
I certainly never heard it before. Shane H. Wilder said, in Supernatural, there was a joke, what likes virgins and gold? P. Diddy. Okay, so he was kind of an open secret, just like Harvey Weinstein was.
All right, then.
Boombox31 said, honestly, I don't care about this leftist voice actor. I'm going to play Ghost 2 in Japanese anyways. Second, I don't mind a female protagonist as long as she's good.
There you go. A perfectly reasonable take that will be completely misrepresented by the mainstream media as you are called a bigot and an incel.
I think a lot of people had that point of view originally, but were called misogynists. And then they were just like, okay, F it. I don't want a female protagonist because it comes with baggage.
Yep.
No, thank you. Professor Freakoff said,
how does Diddy have internet privileges? How the hell did Diddy get internet privileges in jail?
Is Diddy a crisis actor?
Well, I mean, with a name like Professor Freakoff, who else would it be?
Okay. Hi, Diddy. He said, I'm tired of poorly written, preachy, intentionally ugly female protagonists. There are plenty of well-written, strong female characters, but I don't trust modern devs. Fan submissions for Cringe on 700.
Well, it's a little late for that now.
So we have hashtag PCC Pets. Try hashtag PCC Cringe.
There you go. PCC Cringe. Tag me in it.
Yes. Shane H. Wilder said female protagonists are fine as long as they're not just a male character written to be female. Look a Final Girl with Abigail Breslin, for example.
Okay.
Has anyone ever cared whatever Abigail Breslin was doing in anything? What has she been in other than Scream Queens?
I feel like I just watched something with her in it just recently.
Really? I don't know.
What the hell did I watch with her in it recently? Maybe I'm completely wrong.
But you do need to watch Scream Queens.
Yeah.
I think you would genuinely enjoy it.
What the hell did I watch her in recently? Maybe I didn't. Maybe I'm just losing my mind. That's completely
Maybe you are. Sariko Productions said self-insert equals Kathleen Kennedy, Mindy Kaling type. Mindy Kaling, definitely yes. Did Kathleen Kennedy do a self-insert with Ray? Would you say that?
I have no idea. Somebody give me a better example.
A lot of people said that like Kathleen Kennedy is just obsessed with like white female brunette protagonists that are like strong women.
Strong woman.
Kathleen Kennedy, unironically, a strong woman.
I mean, yeah, by the idea that she like kind of coasted off the back of Lucas and Spielberg.
But she is a strong woman.
It takes a lot of strength to destroy Star Wars that thoroughly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
ultimate power.
Down the sledgehammer.
Yep.
L.E. the Dreaming Chrysalis said the problem is if you're having more fun with your hot friend, your significant other is gonna get jealous.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know if that was specifically about hot friend. It's just, can the opposite sexes be friends, period? And it seems to be yes in theory and no in practice.
That seems like a very good outcome. Yeah, sure, but are you really going to be upset if your significant other says, I'd prefer you didn't go hang out with this person?
But also, as a guy, I feel like being friend zoned is not the end of the world.
Okay.
I don't know. Have you been in that situation?
The women that I know, I was never pursuing relationships with anyways.
Okay.
In that respect.
I guess Brett is just a Sigma Chad who never got friend zoned before.
Exactly.
Cesario.
Thank you in the chat. Someone says, I'm someone's hot friend. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, that is true.
Cesario JPN said many samurai media make use of female samurai and other blade welders trope. Lady Snowblood comes to mind. Western media is going to mess it up royally.
Yeah.
Is it Americans making this game for PlayStation?
I don't believe so. I don't know.
Who owns PlayStation, by the way?
Chat, who owns PlayStation?
Is it Microsoft?
No,
it's not Microsoft.
owns Xbox.
Is it
PlayStation's just owned by itself.
Is it really its own thing? Okay. I find that hard to believe. Shane H. Wilder said they do know there's auto-tune, right?
Yep.
It's better without it. Don't try to ruin a good thing.
In the chat, Sketch Therapy says, is Mary your friend? Maybe it can work if coworker. Yeah, coworkers is different.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that we would have naturally found each other and become friends without our jobs.
The whole point is that you have to be able, if you can't have productive relationships with the people you work with, then you're just kind of a mess, right? You have to be able to, there's plenty of people that I was friends with at my jobs that I never would have hung out with outside of work. That's called
I know we
being
joke
adult.
about Mary physically abusing Brett, but that's not actually
doesn't
true.
actually happen.
The allegations are false.
Blink, blink, blink.
Tacty Flatty said, bruh, I loved Revenge of the Fallen, no cap.
Yes, see? At least somebody else on the planet gets it. Does the movie make a whole lot of sense? No, not really. This is what I love about it. There's these large action set pieces that after that Megan Fox interview, I love the idea of her just being like, I'm so tired, I want to go back to my trailer. And Michael Bay's just drill sergeant on set, like, get to your marks. Get to your marks. The camera's going to do a 360 again.
Get to your marks, you dumb bitch.
Where the hell is the light bounce? Somebody bounce the light off her titties. Like, that's what I'm picturing.
Baby oil, stat.
Well, no, that's The Rock. That's
Right,
The Rock.
right.
Is like, that's the best, is like the honest trailer.
Can you imagine if The Rock like did an interview where he was like talking about how he's been objectified as a man in Hollywood?
Maybe. Like there's this hilarious.
Like, that
yes,
just
thank you,
would never
Glitch.
happen.
Lens flare, baby oil. There's this great line from the honest trailer for like Fast and the Furious 5 where it says, The Rock is here and he's jacked up on baby oil. And then it just cuts to like squish, 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 squish. Like he walks and it's just squishy sounds as he walks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Russ of the Frozen North said, can confirm, left the show to go watch the last minute of Transformers. That might be when America peaked.
It is. I've reposted on Twitter like multiple times.
We were still in the Bush administration.
We were
at that time.
2007. Yes, we weren't even quite to Obama yet.
Yeah.
So, you know what? And that's the great thing. You know what Michael Bay's movies are really, really good at doing? American military propaganda. I love it. Okay?
Very true.
I love it.
Do you think he has CIA connections?
Probably, yeah.
He has friends.
Like, then you get freaking Tyrese Gibson in Special Forces. You get Josh Duhamel, Special Forces. The end of the movie, before it cuts to the scene, I don't remember if it's from the first movie or the second movie, where, again, in the second movie, he gives a speech as well over a Linkin Park song, except this time it's on like a destroyer or like a carrier, a ship.
Mm-hmm.
And in the second one, Josh Duhamel's character comes home to his new baby. He's in his military garb. Amazing. Amazing.
We kid, but that would not happen in a movie today.
It wouldn't. That's what I loved about it. Like, it was unapologetically pro-America. Look, here we are invading other countries, looking for literally. That's the what was it?
Yes, we were delusional, but it didn't matter because we all had common ground.
Sony owns PlayStation.
Okay, that.
Oh yeah, duh. Sony
It sounded
PlayStation.
like it,
Duh.
but I didn't know.
But like the whole point is like, is it the second Transformers movie where they're like, they're just invading Shanghai because there's a Decepticon on the loose. I love it. Don't ask the Chinese military to go get it. Who needs it? That's what the U.S. military is for. It's the same thing they do in the honest trailer for the movie Independence Day, where they're like disaster movies in the late 90s, which meant that only America could save the day. And it's like the Australian guys, like, it's the Americans. They want to organize a counteroffensive. And then the British guy's like, it's about bloody time. Well, yeah, of course, you need America to save the day.
Yeah, that sentiment has definitely died since then.
I know. America, we need it back.
Shane H. Wilder said, as soon as the show's over, I'm dropping the 700 short. It is a look back at the milestone episodes and crisis party sounds through the ages. Well, that's a little scary.
Yeah.
Maybe we should react to it on air tomorrow?
Yep. Put it in the, either send it to me or put it in the
subreddit.
The subreddit.
Yes. Actually, we haven't shouted out the subreddit in a while. Maybe we'll do a little meme review tomorrow. It's been a while. Shane H. Wilder said Final Girl came out at the same time of Scream Queens.
Okay.
Yeah, I just thought Emma Roberts was obviously like the star of Scream Queens. Abigail Breslin just sucked. Greg Duvier said Sony Entertainment owns PlayStation. I thought...
Yep. That makes it so funny. As soon as they said it, I was like, duh.
Yeah.
I literally play a PlayStation 2 all the time and just never look at that intro screen. It's just stupid of my part. All right, guys, before we go... again, I thought we were going to get the third crisis party. Saving it for tomorrow. That's what
They
they're doing.
must be,
Yep.
actually.
Guys, before we go, hit the like button on this video. Subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed here yet already. And please, would you go and check out the Timcast Discord. I've got links in the description here, so you can go find that and sign up if you want to leave us a voicemail for episode 700, which is tomorrow. Again, I want to reiterate, we will be live from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. tomorrow. So don't set your calendars, don't set your clocks for 3, set it for 1.
We'll put up the waiting room and everybody's going to be like, why is it so early today?
Exactly. So be sure to be here tomorrow to celebrate episode 700. Every day is a new adventure on this show. It really is.
I knew you were going to say that somehow.
Somehow? All right.
We have a couple more super chats. High Voltage 75 said Florida Panhandle is about to get nailed by Helene. Is that it?
That's the hurricane.
Hopefully the remnants of the storm don't affect the power in your area tomorrow.
Yeah, the weather's been dicey here, and I've every day I come upstairs after all the rain and the storms and something's wrong in the studio. I've had to fix the backup power and the backup batteries or flip the breakers. There's always something.
What was the last one?
The backup...
The last hurricane. It was
I don't know. There was a Hurricane Brett recently.
It wasn't even that close, but I didn't know there was another one. Hopefully nothing goes wrong. Shane H. Wilder said everything goes in the subreddit. It's all I use Reddit for other than lurking in r/Catholicism.
All right.
I also lurk. Okay, you guys can send me validation on Instagram at MaryArchived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also MaryArchived. And I want to reiterate, don't just send voicemails in the Discord that are glazing the show. Send us questions, criticize things that we've said. You know, start debates.
Make it fun.
Make it fun. Make it interesting. Make it spicy.
Go do that now. If you've already sent one and all you did was glaze, go send another one and add more.
Yeah.
All right, guys, if you want to follow me, I am on Instagram and on Twix at Brett Dasovic. This show is here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify if you would prefer to listen rather than watch. And if you want to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix at PopCulture_show, Facebook and not TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. We will be back with episode 700 at 1 p.m. tomorrow. We will see you guys there.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.